What's up, people? Welcome to another episode, a shorter one today of Cosmos Sessions with me, Jesse. So today I want to dive into aspects, in particular moon-Neptune aspects, right? So let's talk about that really quickly. So basically, in my opinion, the moon in your natal chart, this is the most important. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. This is the most important planet, right? Because the moon, your moon sign is a non-negotiable, right? It represents what you need to feel happy, what you need to feel fulfilled. And it can be just like the moon, is dark, it's night, it's hidden, right? So it's our unconscious. There's a lot that's unconscious about our moon sign, right? The sun, it's easier for us to know about that. Ascendant, easier for us to know. So aspects in astrology are everything, right? So I'm talking here mainly about if you have a 90-degree square between sun and moon, opposition 180. Now it doesn't have to be exact, right? You can have some variance in that. Different astrologers use different orbs. But yeah, and then also conjunction and quincunx. So quincunx is 150 degrees. That one, you'll use a tighter orb. And yeah, so anyways, if you want to figure out the orbs, just look online, see what different people say, right? It's just different for everyone. But okay, so basically one of the most interesting things about moon Neptune, right? And they are all different, like square, opposite, quincunx, all that, but it's very easy to think of it, better to think of it more as the archetype, right? This is better, an easier way to learn astrology. So think about moon Neptune, and regardless of what the person's moon sign is, like even if they have like a Taurus moon, like a friend of mine, they're gonna have a Piscean, like you could say, like it's almost like they'll have like in her case, like a Taurus moon / Pisces. It's that powerful, right? Especially if it's like a very tight, meaning like the angle is very tight because it's all geometry angles, right? So it's really interesting because there's this sort of like clouding, this fogginess of the emotions. And especially, with what I've seen with the square is that the person is a sponge for energy. So even if they have a very solid, like otherwise not so known as like intuitive and empathetic moon sign, if they have Neptune aspecting it, it's going to bring that. Of course, the trine, the sextile, which is the 120 and the 60, those are more smooth flowing aspects. So those aren't going to come with some of the more difficult manifestations. So anyways, moon Neptune, it's really, really important to understand that, like I said, there's that fogginess that can come around the emotions. And the person, when they're young, right, especially, with their early nurturing, whether, mother, usually it's mother, but like I don't really go with the moon mom, son, dad thing. I've just seen it, a lot of variance with that. I think of the moon more as like the early nurturing, which a lot of times is the mother, but they tend to take on a lot of the energy. So a lot of people I see with this, clients and whatnot, they have this energy where they have taken on guilt, shame, negative emotions that are not theirs, right? That are belonging, a lot of times it's to their mom. So they're super sensitive, and the key part, like it's when they're really, really, really young that it's so important. So like anyone that has kids with this, like you have to be super careful and give a ton of love, because like the mother's energy, like I've had clients where they're like 32, 34, 40, and I tell them this, I'm like, you have probably taken on different energies from your mom that you might think belong to you that do not. And I've had people like literally purging like throwing up and stuff, and like having like just these incredible like realizations and whatnot from just that awareness. So yeah, besides that, Neptune is very spiritual. So this isn't a bad, there's no such thing as bad or good in astrology. It's just that the person with this sometimes can have a lot of difficulty understanding their own emotional nature, and they can have a lot of confusion, and they're so sensitive that, like, for example, like they can have trouble like in big crowds of people. Obviously, it depends on the whole chart, but like they just like really need to be careful about who they spend their time with, the energy that they're around, right? Um, so also I would say that in intimate relationships, it can definitely cause sort of difficulty, because there can be this paranoia and, this difficulty with seeing things correctly and seeing things straight, right? So like I said, like how they were nurtured is so way more important than with other people, because they're so like as a kid they were so sensitive to these subtle energies, these nonverbal energies. They're like literally psychic people, like, they have potential for psychic, like, and very high intuitive abilities. So if there was that negativity early on, it has like a very difficult effect, right? um so sometimes I've seen with this, escapism, that's another shadow of Neptune. I've also seen there's some like the most amazing healers who have this, right? But just feeling, especially if you have like a lot of other planets in your chart, like, um that are very sensitive, let's say you're like a Pisces sun, or something like that. You like I've had a lot of people with this say, like, that they really want to work and help people, but like that it's just like feeling other people's pain is just too much for them, right? So yeah. So the key is finding balance, right? And um finding a positive creative escape, not one that's negative, right? Like drugs and stuff like that. So I think, with most of these aspects, the key is around feeling and being able to express the emotions, right? So like psychotherapy, astrology, stuff like that, diving into their spiritual side can be very, very, very important, because yeah. Also, since the moon rules the public, sometimes there can be some confusion with that and with life direction. And with women also, it can be some issues with women. So, being able to show that sensitive side is so important. And people have a lot of fear of this sometimes, but when they do, like, and they dive into their spiritual side, their nurturing side, their compassion side, they see like that other people really appreciate it and they love that vulnerability. So when they're able to share their internal suffering, like people listen, and like it's really, really powerful, right? And it's like, so, like they can be very shy people, but when they really open up their true authentic self, like a lot, comes from it. And you know, I think that Neptune moon people just have to be like really, really careful about who they, like where they work, where they live, who they are dating, who their friends are. Because, like I said, like without knowing it, they can be very chameleon-like, and they can take on emotional energies that aren't theirs. So, yeah, super, super, super sensitive, but it doesn't mean that, don't confuse that with weakness, right? Um, so besides that, with anything Neptune, the key is boundaries, right? Like Neptune, obviously, like I said, it depends on the whole chart, but it can be very difficult for them to have strong emotional boundaries. Um, so one of the life purposes for that is to be able to assert your boundaries. Like if you have someone in your life that's like taking advantage of your empathetic nature and whatnot, it's like being able to really, really, really like say like, look, this is my boundary, like don't cross it, right? But it can be very hard because these are people that see the highest potential in other people. So um yeah, besides that, just like yeah, it's just spirituality, and just like really like looking at yourself when are you checking out, right? What are the situations that trigger you to check out? And just being able to dig into your own, like, unconscious, um and find that sort of emotional wisdom and understanding, right? So getting to know yourself better, because a lot of people with this, especially if there's like other things in their chart involved, like Saturn and whatnot, they can really build up a wall. And especially like it's kind of like, a lot of times you know, like let's say they get hurt in an early relationship, it can be difficult for them to open back up, right? Um, but yeah, they're gifted, right? They're very gifted, and that's more about like like the harsher aspects. So also, when there's a conjunction, right? Neptune conjunct Moon. This is like, once again, it's the same themes, but it's very, very psychic, right? Like people have a Moon Neptune's very, very psychic. Um, but it's like it can be a gift and a curse, like this whole thing with Neptune can be a gift and a curse, right? Um, so being able to pick up on other people's thoughts, feelings, and all that, but it's like being able to filter out like what is imagination, what's based on your own trauma and your own like subjective reality, and what's intuition. So it's like building that muscle of intuition is what's really important. And I think with Neptune, obviously, like I said, it depends on the whole chart. Um, but like, being able to do something in your life that you feel like you're giving back, like there's a purpose to it, or else sometimes in Neptune, it can feel like you're just running in these like circles that are just useless. So that's kind of my take on it. What else can I say? Um, mm, let's think. I know there's more. Yeah, I mean, I just want to continue to highlight that like there's such creative talents here. There's such an ability to tap into the collective unconscious and to take from your dream life. I think dream journaling is amazing. And journaling in general. Neptune rules cameras, screens, and mirrors. So doing like reprogramming, the mind through that is really, really powerful. And yeah, just also like one thing is, I said addictions, poor self-image is another potential for like Neptune Moon. Um, so, being able to kind of like see the self clearly is the goal. Um, and yeah, kind of being, yeah, like boundaries, because like sometimes like people with this, they'll feel like they need, like they can over idealize someone who might be really bad to them. So like being able to see that clearly is so important. um where you're not like stuck in this world of delusion, you're seeing things clearly. So yeah, I would say that it's totally cool to have your safe place that you retreat to and all that. um that's just part of it. And you'll need alone time. You'll need alone time to sort through the energy, like you know especially like in large crowds or in different environments where there's lots of people. Like you'll really like your alone time is sacred for you, and you have to know that with relationships and just in general. um but yeah, this is like a very, very, very compassionate placement. So it's important to know, even if you have your moon sign, and like I said, in a sign that's not really like so close to Pisces or Neptune, that this is very much at play. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to book a reading with me, my website will be right here, hopefully, and my Instagram somewhere over there. I post, everything is on Instagram usually, but I'm starting this YouTube, so I really, really, really would appreciate the likes, comments. I'm gonna be engaging in the comments more. Just been really busy this week, so thank you so much, and I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.